Good morning everyone, or maayong buntag kaniyong tanan. My name is Maras P. Pamon from Travel Best Tour Guide and your tour guide for today. How was your trip? Is it good or are you still feeling jet lag? Alright, can you follow me on our way to the bus? Is everybody settled? Good. We're going to the hotel which we will stay in a few minutes. I kindly ask all of you to remain in your seats until we come back to a complete stop. Once we arrive at the hotel, please double check to make sure your bags has been taken when we take off in the bus. Just a few reminders for tomorrow's day tour. I will be meeting you at 8:30 in the morning. Please have your breakfast. And tomorrow, based on the weather, is going to be a sunny day, so make sure you have your sunscreen, your shades, and your hat. In behalf of Travel Best Guide, I'm looking forward to see you and enjoy your stay here in Davao. Daghang salamat. Good morning, and as we say it in our language, maayong buntag. As your small girl tour guide, remember my name is Mary. On behalf of Travel Tour Guide, we will fly you to the historic place in Davao. On behalf of our captain, Mr. John Concepcion. Say maayong buntag to Mr. John. Now, speaking of, first of all, head count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 15. Good. Now, we at Travel Best Guide, your safety is our utmost priority. I know you guys are all excited, but first, I want you all to remember, always wear your protective gear such as face masks and face shields. Strictly follow social distancing and have your alcohol by your side, and remember, do not leave your things unattended like your wallets, your bags, and your important gadgets. Okay? Kindly be responsible for our trash and practice Lego. Clean as you go. That is right. And lastly, that very important to remember is make the most out of your time. And speaking of time, I think we should have the same time in my time. It's 8:45 in the morning. Done? Okay. Another time-friendly reminder is to know my signal. If I wave this flag off, it means you have 15 minutes to roam around. And if I wave this twice, it means that we only have 5 minutes left. And if I wave it thrice, it means that we are on to our next spot. Now, by any chance that you are not feeling well, I have here an emergency kit. So kindly please raise that concern immediately. Are there any questions? Okay, did you have a good sleep? That's good. And based on our data itinerary, as we enter the Davao City, we'll start off by revisiting the city's premier cathedral landmark of Davao City, which is San Pedro Cathedral. From the church, we'll then go to Davao Museum of History and Ethnography. And by 11:30, also we'll go to our last spot, which is Brigada Filipino Comfort Cuisine. And speaking of it, I think we have just arrived at our first destination. Welcome to San Pedro Cathedral. San Pedro Cathedral, built in 1847 by Spanish settlers. San Pedro Cathedral is the oldest church in the Davao City and a recognized national cultural treasure. It is named after an Pedro or Saint Peter, the patron saint of Davao. St. Pedro Street, which leads up to the cathedral, is also the oldest street in Davao. St. Pedro Cathedral was enlarged in the mid-90s and then redesigned completely in 1964 by architect Manuel Chu, who gave the cathedral its distinctly modern design, rounded concrete that seems to evoke a stage room more than a place of worship. In fact, the curved structure is designed to look like the prow of a benta or traditional boats of Mindanao with sails which incorporate the colors of the Muslim community on the water and which the Christian across above represents the convergence of religions on an island where 70% of the population identify themselves as Christians and 20% as Muslim. The daily mass at noon is held in English. The present structure has distinctive modern design, far from the original Spanish-style architecture and unique from most Catholic churches in the Philippines. depicting that of event occurring across of the health. It is reflective of convergence of Christians and Muslims living in Davao who stand united despite differences in beliefs and ways of life. It is now considered a national culture treasure. Do you have any questions? Alright, I will not give you my permission. You have 15 minutes to roam around the church to also send your prayers, just like everyone visiting in church. I kindly ask all of you to please observe silence, not to respect, but if you see me waving this flag up in this right exact spot, it means that we are on to our next destination. Is that clear? Okay. It is one of the two public museums found the largest city in the island of Mindanao. The one is Museo de Bavenio, which dubbed as the new museum, but slightly smaller than Davao Museum. Davao Museum is the city's first ethnographic museum. It showcased the culture of the indigenous peoples collectively ascribed Lumed of southern Mindanao, among which are Mandaya, Manubo, Maranao, Tibuli, Bagubo, Milaan, and Mansaka. The museum collections include old maps of Mindanao and the Philippines, trade jars, burial urns, weaponry, jewelry, personal ornaments, musical instruments, tribal clothes, handicrafts, and pottery. There is a special section showcasing the significance of traditional cloth weaving, which is still being done today. This old museum showcases the cultural heritage of Davao, which roots from the large variety of tribes that populated the region, and even up to this day, people can still see them with their colorful costumes. The Davao Museum is a project initiated and sponsored by the Zonta Club of Davao City Incorporate in cooperation with the Filipinas Foundation Incorporate. The Museum of Davao was inaugurated and blessed on August 3, 1977 with main benefactors Don Enrique Zobel de Ayala and Don Jamie Zobel de Ayala together with the Zonta Club members. For admission rates of museum, for adults it's 100 pesos and for students 20 pesos, but for students must present their school ID to avail the student price. Don't forget to ask for an official receipt. Inside the Davao Museum, after you open the wooden glass entrance door of the museum, you will entertained by the lady in the information counter and you need to pay the admission. The front desk already showcases large images of the different needlework and crafts using beads. On the right side, facing the front desk, you will see a fossilized Taclobo giant clam found in 2009 at Samal Island, where the luxurious Pearl Farm Beach Resort is located. One of the things that you will catch your eyes is the lower floor in the Davao timeline. It is a chronology of historical events of the province. It commences from the Negrito, the earliest inhabitants of the Davao region, and the earliest archaeological findings in 2700 BC to the settlements of the various indigenous peoples up to the present day. If you read the summary of the history of Davao, you will surely spend about 30 to 45 minutes of your time, but it's worth it. Note that picture taking is not on this area. Another notable display in the lower floor of the Davao Museum is the contemporary replica of the typical Bagubo house made of indigenous materials such as Bagubo and Rattan. It includes a tabarana or Bagubo music. The interior of the hut also shows a weaving loom of the bae or woman and blacksmith area for the men in the rear portion of the hut. It also provides a separate sleeping quarters on the roof of the single woman of the household for their safety and security. A snake in a house signifies valor of the head of the family. All pictures and writings, crafts mostly made of beads for accessories, indigenous hats, old ceramics, Barbie dolls with tribal clothing are some of the other displays in the first floor. Upstairs are the main exhibit of the Davao Museum. The first thing one will see in the second floor is the tabuk. It is a wooden carved drum used to announce azan or call to prayer in Mindanao Islamic communities. It is hung horizontally on ropes or chains at the entrance of markets. The drum head is beaten during waktu or prayer time. In the Carlos O. Dominguez Jr. and Don Antonio O. Florendo Galleries, Davao exhibit of shade diversity, one will see jars made of clay and wood, metal nut containers made by the Maranao, Tibuli, Bagubo, and Tagabawa tribes, and weapons such as swords, spears, and shields. There are also life-size dummies that shows Ginum, a Bagubo Thanksgiving festival that may last for 1 to 4 days. Ginum means to drink or drinking. In that, the festival features palaba or wine in jars placed in each corner of the longhouse of the datu where the celebration takes place. There are also mannequins of women with their tribal clothes while they were weaving. Today, weaving is one of the main sources of income of the tribes. A Mandaya legend says that the good spirit Tagamalin taught a Mandaya woman how to weave a baka fiber and make the designs. It took the woman 3 months to master the art of producing the textile dagmay. The Bagubo also has their own story about weaving. In the past, the art of weaving was a sacred activity. There were many tabos associated with it. The weaving area was a sacred ground where the spirits actively inspire and guide the weavers. It was off limits of the male members of the community. Violation of the taboo carried a stiff penalty. Then there's also the life-size dummies of the dance of Labi. It is the healing ritual which means superior and that the spirit who is more powerful can cure a particular sickness. The healing ritual is done in a richly decorated place, usually imitating a wedding celebration. The ritual performers, a combination of male and female, dance to the sound of the kulintang and invite the spirits to possess them. The dancers show diverse movements depending on the spirits that have possessed them. Upstairs, the Davao Museum, one can also see brassware, bags, earrings, head cover, necklaces, burial jars, unique musical instruments, and costumes. Noteworthy is the smallish galleon replica, which also looks like the galleon Andalusia which docked in Manila, Cebu, and Bohol in October 2010. Davao Museum is open from Monday to Saturday at 9 a.m. to 12 noon and 11 p.m. to 5 p.m. It is closed during Sundays and holidays. Do you have any questions? Alright, I will give you my permission. You have 15 minutes to roam around the museum, and I kindly ask all of you to please observe silence must be observed in the galleries and along the corridors. Smoking and eating are strictly prohibited inside the museum premises. Taking of pictures inside the galleries, stepping on the pedestals, touching of artifacts and artworks are strictly prohibited. Now I give you my signal to respect, but if you see me waving this flag up in this right exact spot, it means that we are on to our next destination. Is that clear? Okay. Set to excite Davao's culinary scene is Ricardo, a new heaven for Filipino comfort food. Ricardo promises an hour of dishes that will bring the dinner home to mother's home-cooked meals to its tables. Located along Jacinto Extension Street, Ricardo's new home is a newly built 2-story house of glass. The look of the building's contemporarily designed premises a new take on the well-loved comfort food the Filipinos all grew up with. Conceptualized by the owners and interpreted by a team of young, forward-thinking architect and interior designer, Ricardo Restaurant emits the look and feel of modernity, a 2-level edifice wrapped in picture windows, high ceiling interior, industrial finish flooring, the hue of the wooden essence, and furniture emitting warmth in glass and steel structure, and quickly designed elements issue the youthful side of the owners. Everybody had a full tummy? Delicious? I bet you do. Alright, let's do a head count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 15. Perfect! It's sad to say this is the end of our tour, but remember, it is not the end of our journey. On behalf of the Travel Best Guide, Captain John, and me, your small girl tour guide, Mary, it's a pleasure spending our time with you. Sit back and relax as we approach you all to the hotel. Thank you. Salamat kaninyong tanan.